think I might have to check the master cylinder up front. Just stepping on the brakes just now as I was turning, the pedal had a little more motion in it than it did just minutes before. I got a feeling there may be a little leak up there again, or maybe there's a leak on a different brake line. Or maybe I'm just completely wrong and I'm feeling things. Right now it feels fine, but I also haven't pushed that hard on it yet. Well, quite to my surprise, looking around in here, I expected for sure it was going to be one of my junctions, and it turned out it's actually a weep in the brake line right about here. And I don't know if you could see it, but as I move it around, a wet spot develops on it. There it is, you can see it. Not focusing very well, but that's it right there. Squirting out of just a little pinhole. Might be something that I did to it as I was working, but seeing as how I really didn't work in that area, I don't know how I would have caused that. Anyway, I gotta replace the brake line, but I don't have any more rubber lines. Eleanore was nice enough to help us out today and donated a couple of stainless lines to Ruby, so this way Ruby can get her repair taken care of. Checking out the price on these, buying the stock rubber lines from the local auto parts store are actually a little bit more expensive than the braided stainless steel ones are. So I'm gonna put a set of these on order, so that way Eleanore has another set. It should be here sometime next week. But today, we can fix Ruby with what we've got. So we're gonna get into there and switch these parts out. There's our old line and our replacement, and our weep hole. You can't even see it. It's like right here. In fact, that's it right there. It is tiny, really small. Oh man, the nut is bigger on these. I need a bigger wrench. We got one line installed. Technically, we're ready to bleed now, but we're going to do the other side first. Welcome back to Duckman Cycles and VW Garage. I'm your host, the Duckman. Back today with Ruby. That's right, Ruby, my 1968 Volkswagen Fastback. You know, we changed out that single stainless steel brake line just a couple days ago. And the car seemed to drive really well, except for when I really got on that brake pedal. When I pushed really hard on that brake pedal, the pedal would actually move. It felt like, you know, it was leaking. But if I was gentle on it, I'd drive around town like, you know, nothing was wrong. And I really didn't notice that so much until I pulled into the Twin Peaks parking lot just yesterday when I was taking a ride out to see Wild Bill. And sure enough, I found a puddle of brake fluid on the floor, but the weirdest thing was I was finding it up inside the wheel well, not on the brake line. The brake line was dry, and I figured for sure it was, you know, my stainless steel junction points, because being stainless steel, it work hardens. Sometimes you do have to tighten those a little bit more just to make sure that they do seal properly. And in this case, when I touched all the brake lines, they're dry. I mean, even the rubber line was dry. I didn't find any brake fluid on it at all. But it did squirt, as you saw in the beginning of the video. I put up a piece of cardboard so you could actually see it shoot on out onto it. And I'd say that it's you know, it was leaky right there. And I don't know what caused it. I mean, I know I was bleeding the brake line, and I was turning that little 7mm wrench on the bleeder right there, and I'm sure I did hit the brake line at some point, but there was nothing that was sharp and pointy on it, and the brake line's not compromised. They're not that old. They're only a few years old. So I really don't know why the thing would have developed a pinhole like it did. And for that matter, you know, I mean, it was barely even a pinhole. The fact that it would only leak if you got really hard on the throttle, if you operated the brakes, you know, gently, just driving around town, gently cruising, no problems to be found. Well, anyway, check out duckshit.net over here. Like, comment, subscribe, pluck the dingle belly, and we're going to resume the project over here. I think all that's left is bleeding the brakes and putting our wheels back on. We should be able to take it for a test drive. It's starting to get a little dark out here. We'll see how much we can get done today. I'm sure it'll get done, but the test drive might be a dark one. But you guys always like to go for a ride with me, so today I'll take you with me again. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in just a minute. Yeah, it's a little dark for you guys to see it, but we're going to do the best we can. Alright, I think that side is good. Let's go hit the other side where there's better light. Alright, very little waste brake fluid in that case because we didn't drain everything. Alright, I think we're good. Let me go inside and step on the brake pedal and make sure it feels firm, and then the wheels go back on. There we go, we'll torque it down when it's on the ground. And again, we'll torque it when it's on the ground. Whoa! And that's why you keep your hands clear. Almost saw the duck man become a dead man. Almost died. That one was always kind of a loose fit. It always went on real easy. All right. Brake pedal feels more firm than it ever has. Oh. Works if I touch the gas pedal instead of the brake pedal to get it started. Remember, this engine has no choke, so it does require a little bit of throttle play to get it going. So choppy because the thing is cold. Now remember, I said this thing has no chokes. I'll Takes a little bit for it to get warmed up. It's a little cold-blooded, but damn it, it always fires up. I don't know how well this GoPro picks up at night. It might have to enhance the video a little bit. Oh, brake pedal feels good. But I'm not gonna curse myself like I did yesterday, where I say, oh, everything's fine, I think we can just leave it alone and we're not gonna have any more issues for a long time. Yeah, that's bullshit. Go take the thing for a test drive and then have a pinhole in the brake line. And then I have to spend another 2 hours taking shit apart, fixing things, ordering more parts. Now, thankfully I had some. Eleanor's a very sweet girl for donating some of her parts over to Ruby. The last thing I do tonight before I go to bed is order some new brake lines for Ruby. I said Ruby, I meant Eleanore. Ruby, you already got brake lines. Yeah, before bed I'll get some parts for Eleanore and make sure I have what I need. I still have to take my brakes over to A-Bomb for a little bit of fine-tuning. I've been text messaging, but I'm not getting any answers back. That's happened to us before. He just doesn't get my messages, so I'll just keep plugging away until eventually he answers. Been down this street in a long time. This is one of the routes I used to take to work. But since I closed my office down over 2 years ago, I haven't been down the street since. She's warming up little by little. She's starting to feel a little better now. Well, one thing is for definite, the brake pedal is more firm than it ever was. Even more firm than it was the other day when I replaced a stainless line and bled everything out. And it's probably because the rubber lines are gone now and I have stainless braided ones on there. And those are known for giving you a more firm brake pedal because the lines don't expand so much when you get on the brakes. Yeah, so I've got to say that feel is really nice. You push just a little bit and the brakes start to actuate. You don't have to push too hard. What I will do tonight, because Ruby parks on top of 2x12s, is I'll flip them over because one of them has a big wet mark from where brake fluid was dripping down onto it, and make sure there's not a wet 2x12 out there in the morning tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's probably a bad example. It's actually supposed to rain like hell tomorrow. So if I didn't get this done today, it probably wasn't going to get done before tech session on Saturday. It's supposed to rain like hell tomorrow. I have a whole bunch of installs for work that are going to keep me busy. And I don't usually work on Thursdays. Usually Thursday is my day where I don't take service calls. This Thursday I got scheduled for a bunch of installs, and as a compromise they threw me Friday with no service calls instead, and I said, hey, you know what, I can deal with that. So that's going to give me 2 days off in a row, and I can't remember the last time I had 2 days off in a row from service calls. That is a very rare situation. Gotta love that flat 4 sound. And that shifter feels so nice. See a copper up ahead. And I don't have my driver's license in my pocket. I don't think it's gonna mess with me, but hey, anything can happen. I'm not even wearing my damn seatbelt. That's right, I'm a friggin' criminal. Oh, that was a head-on collision. I don't know how well you guys got to see it in the camera, but yeah, that was a head-on collision. They didn't hit too hard. Their front ends are not crushed in, but they are in contact with each other. Go. This is one of my favorite turns right here. This is the one where I really tested the sway bars, went around it with some speed, and when I felt the car didn't lean over, I knew the sway bars were doing their job. But everybody in front of me was going entirely too slow, so the car's nice and warm now. Now it's running good. Yeah, it's running real good right now. Every time I take Ruby apart and work on her, I always make the car better than it ever was. She's needed a lot of help since I got her. I mean, she was running and driving, but she barely had any brakes, barely idled on her own, made just clouds of gasoline fumes. I mean, it was just, yeah, your eyes were burning driving that thing in the condition that it was in. That was terrible. All the lights worked though. I mean, that was a good thing. Except for the dome light here in the interior. That never worked. Still doesn't work. But little by little, every time I fix something, once I take it apart, I have a tendency to upgrade rather than replace with stock. There's some things on Volkswagens that just, they were designed for economy. And while most things worked, you know, like drum brakes, they work. I mean, they work fantastic. They're just not good. You know, you could do better. And I have done better by putting some rear discs on here, and that made a whole lot of difference. You know, the dual carburetors going to the Delordos over what was on here previous, which actually was fuel injection, which had its problems, and the previous owner removed them and actually installed the Delordos and didn't know what the hell they were doing and tuned them all wrong. But over the years, I've gotten them right, and they do pretty well. Well, we are arriving home, and I am just overjoyed. So we're gonna put Ruby inside to keep the rain off of her tonight. Get her up in here. Let's see. I'm gonna have to buy her a new mirror too. I accidentally busted her left mirror off last week when I was backing out. It's glued on now, but I don't like it. It's gonna eventually come off. All right, there we are. Please like, comment, subscribe, plug that dingle belly. That way you get updates every time that I upload a new video. Don't forget to check out duckshit.net right up here in the corner of your video window. That way you too can get updates every time that I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Really do appreciate you. You have a good night.